there, Descendants, my fellow Americans, and people in other countries around the world. How are y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. We're back with another video on the first Descendant. Today, we're going to be looking over the dev notes covering the patch notes for February 12th. Before we get into this, though, if you do enjoy the content that you see, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. And I also want to say that I am going into this not anticipating Dia to go from 0 to 0. So let's just go ahead and get started, though.
Hey everyone, Jason here, community manager for the first Descendant. I'm back with our director for another DevNote video. 네, 안녕하세요, 여러분. 커뮤니티
I
매니저
also do want to
제이슨입니다.
apologize because I am a little bit under the
함께
weather right now.
DevNote로
So if you
다시
hear any
한번
sniffling, I'm
인사드립니다.
네,
sorry.
안녕하세요. 네, 주민석입니다.
Please forgive me.
오늘은 시즌 3 에피소드 3 업데이트 후의 이슈들을 빠르게 정리해 보겠습니다.
Hi, this is Min-Seok Ju. Today, let's begin by quickly
Hello,
summarizing
Jason and
issues
Min-Seok
that
Ju.
have come up after the Season 3, Episode 3 update.
먼저 글레이 철과 피 관련한 이야기를 해야 할 것 같은데요. 자세한 설명을 드리기 전에 내부에서 다양한 테스트를 했음에도 불구하고 예상치 못한 밸런스 불균형이 발생해서 계승자 여러분께 혼란을 드린 점 사과드립니다.
First, we have to talk about Blood and Iron. Before we providing further details, we sincerely apologize for the unexpected balance issues that occurred despite extensive internal testing.
네, 글레이의 철과 피 길드는 커뮤니티에서도 다양한 의견이 나오고 있고 상위 콘텐츠에서 약 10% 정도 더 높은 성능을 발휘하고 있는 상태입니다. 그래서 개발팀 내부에서도 추가적인 검증을 통해 조정이 필요하다는 판단을 내렸습니다.
So Glaze, Blood, and Iron build sparked diverse opinions within the community, and it demonstrated over 10% higher performance in endgame content. Due to this, through further internal verification, the development team has determined
You hear that? Over 10% more performance in in-game content, meaning that she was over.
that adjustments are necessary.
네, 저희는 지금 계승자 여러분께 약속드렸던 새로운 게임 모드 그리고 파밍의 재미를 더 빠르게 선보이는데 집중을 하고 있고 이를 더 잘 수행하기 위해서는 현 시점에서 밸런스를
I also do want to say that
바로잡을
I think it is in the
시간이
community's
필요하다고
best interest to
판단했습니다.
understand that this
We're
is
focusing much of our development
Magnum
effort
Studios'
on
game
new
at the end
game
of the day.
modes and improvements to the farming.
and that, you know, if they see that an adjustment is needed, they're going to make those adjustments, you know, whether we like it or not as players. I just wanted to clarify that really quickly. Whether we agree with them, whether we disagree with them, honestly, it holds no weight at the end of the day.
Experience. To accomplish this more effectively,
I am
we have
more in
determined that
agreement
it is
with this than
necessary to
disagree.
make the decision to address the current issues that are disrupting the overall game balance.
철과 피 빌드를 완성하기 위해 많은 계승자분들께서 얼마나 많은 시간과 정성을 쏟으셨는지도 알고 있고요. 그래서 그에 대한 보상도 저희가 준비를 하고 있고 그리고 글레이의 철과 피 빌드를 계속해서 즐기실 수 있도록 편의성 개선도 함께 준비를 했습니다.
We understand that players spent lots of time completing the setup for Blood and Iron, and we prepared compensation rewards along with QOL improvements so that players can continue using Glaze, Blood, and Iron build.
그래서 우선 철과 피의 광란 힐의 피해 개수를 약 35% 정도 낮췄고요. 범위를 15m로 그리고 최대 확장 가능한 범위를 150%로 조정을 했습니다. 그리고 자원 소모량이 50으로 변경이 되고요. 벽을 뚫고 공격하는 부분도 수정하게 됐습니다. 그리고 광란 스킬 중에 바이크 탑승으로 취소하는 것을 삭제하고 대신에 정식 취소 기능을 추가했고요. 호버바이크를 모든 맵에서 탈 수 있는 것도 아니고 버그였던 기능이었지만 필요한 것으로 판단해서 정식 기능을 도입했습니다. 그리고 마지막으로 광란 스킬을 사용 중에 회전이 가능하도록 조작성을 개선하기도 했습니다.
The Blood and Iron Rampage skill power modifier will be reduced by 35%, with the range becoming 15 meters and the max expendable range becoming 150%. Skill cost will be changed to 50, and the issue of attacking through walls will be fixed as well. Also, the ability to ride the hover bike.
Okay, so 35%. So 35%, which means that all you would have to do is probably swap out a module or two, you know, butts around with different builds and stuff like that, and you can probably close that gap by at least 5 to 10%. So a 35% damage reduction can be remedied at least to some extent. Let's continue.
With the range becoming 15 meters and the max expendable range becoming 150%. Skill cost will be changed to 50 and the issue of attacking through walls will be fixed as well. Also, the ability to ride the
So
hoverbike
15 meters being expanded by 145% would be something like 37 or 150%. I'm sorry, would be something like 37 meters. So, it's that's still. I mean, think about it. 37 meters. That's still pretty far. Definitely not a range to scoff at by any means. At least if you ask me.
during Rampage, and canceling it has been removed, but we've added an official canceling feature for it. This is because
Good.
the hoverbike isn't usable on all maps, and although it was a bug, we determined it was necessary and introduced it as an official feature. Finally, we've improved the controls of Rampage to allow rotation during skill activation. Yeah,
Nice.
I kind of thought it was weird that Descendants could ride the hoverbike and reuse their skills. And also, there were many opinions that Rampage skill lacked insufficient visual and sound effects. 예, 그래서 저도 좀 스킬 중에
Okay,
이제
so they're
바이크를
making it
타고 또 다시 약간
more immersive
스킬 쓰고
to
하는
use.
건 좀 이상하다는 생각이 들었는데
If I'm understanding. this
또
correctly.
이 광란 스킬의 이펙트와 효과음이 약간 부족하다는 그런 의견도 많이 보였습니다.
네, 그래서 그 부분도 개선을 진행을 하고 있습니다. 이번에 연출 관련한 피드백이 많이 확인돼서 스킬 이펙트와 효과음도 2월 12일에 함께 개선을 패치할 준비하고 있습니다. 네.
Yeah, so we plan to improve that as well. We received lots of feedback regarding visual effects, so we're preparing to improve the overall skill and sound effects together on the February 12th patch.
See right there. They're implementing updates based upon feedback. And I'm sure, that this the readjustment for Glaze is also based upon player feedback, which is good. I mean, and to kind of address the elephant in the room in terms of the community kind of going a bit ballistic over this, when Nexon has a certain amount of players, obviously I don't know the percentages, but when Nexon has a certain amount of players telling, well, Magnum Studio, you guys understand what I mean, telling them that, hey, this is overtuned, this is too strong, like, this character is destroying X or Y before, my teammates and I, or most people queue into Wall Crasher solo, but, before I can even get a single hit off on the enemy or whatever the case might be, then of course they're going to have to address something like this and, implement changes and, damage reduction and, damage range reduction and all this other stuff, right? And increase skill cost. The skill cost can be remedied, though, of course. There's ways around it. You can adjust your arcade board. You can get skill cost reduction on the Ancestor module. You can get skill cost on the Reactor. You can look at your modules and see if you have any skill costs in there that you could, slide in for a different module. There's ways around this, right? I mean, obviously, she won't be as destructive and overpowered as she was before, but, you can still close the gap a little bit and get her into a really good place to be more balanced along with the other strongest Descendants in the game. Because as of right now, before this patch is implemented, I would say she's either top 1 or top 2. The difference between, or the difference between being her or Ajax, and obviously Serena would be third. So.
All right, so to summarize, adjustments to Glaze, Blood, and Iron, Rampage skill damage, range, and resource consumption will be made, and adjustments to attacking through walls will also be made, but we will be adding the ability to cancel Rampage, and we'll add rotation during skill use. Also, some changes to modifying the visual and sound effects will be made, so these changes are scheduled for the February 12th patch. Also, the February 12th patch will include improvements to Dia and new firearms as well. So, Director, what aspects will be improved for Dia? Yeah, 그러면 좀 정리를 드리자면 이 글레이의 철과 피해, 광란 스킬의 피해량, 범위, 자원 소모량 조정과 이 벽을 뚫는 문제 등을 좀 조정하는 대신에 저희가 광란의 캔슬 조작을 좀 추가를 할 예정이고요. 그리고 스킬 사용 중에 회전, 그리고 이펙트와 효과음 수정 등이 이루어질 예정입니다. 자세한 내용은 저희 2월 12일 패치노트 좀 참고를 부탁드리고요. 또 이어서 2월 12일 패치에는 다이아와 좀 그 신규 총기 개선도 예정이 되어 있는데 어떤 점이 개선이 될까요?
자, 네, 먼저 그러면 다이아 이야기부터 해보겠습니다. 저희는 다이아의 성능 자체는 충분히 잘 나왔다고 생각하고 있고요. 다만 조작감이 부족한 부분을 개선해야겠다라고 판단하게 되었습니다.
Yeah, let's talk about Daya. We believe Daya has been performing quite well. However, we
Yes,
think
she
that
has.
the overall controls need improvement. Yeah, I agree with that opinion. 예, 저도 좀 그 부분에는 동의를 하는 바입니다.
네, 그래서 일단 1번 스킬의 돌진 속도를 더 빠르게 하고요. 그리고 후딜을 좀 줄였고요. 타격 판정도 보완을 했습니다. 그리고 2번 스킬 같은 경우는 지속 시간을 더 늘려서요. 1번, 2번 콤보를 더 편리하게 사용할 수 있도록 개선하게 되었습니다.
First, we increased the charge speed of skill number 1 and reduced its ending motion delay, and we also improved its hit detection. For skill number 2,
Very
we
good.
extended its duration to make it easier to execute combos.
4번 스킬의 사용성도 개선했는데요. 스킬 후의 딜레이를 좀 줄이고 스킬 모션도 더 빠르게 조정합니다. 더 빠르게 쓰는 거죠.
네.
그리고 꼽히는 환희의 4번 스킬은 창을 더 빠르게 날아가도록 개선하고요. 그리고 패드에서는 꼽히는 환희 4번 스킬을 차징하는 동안 L스틱으로 방향 전환을 하는 기능도 추가됐고, 그리고 랭기의 낙인 3번 스킬도 차징하는 동안 L스틱으로 방향 전환을 가능하도록 개선하게 되었습니다.
The usability of skill number 4 has also been improved. We reduced the ending motion delay and adjusted the skill animation to be faster. Additionally, skill number 4 on Blooming Ecstasy has been improved so the spear flies faster. We're also
Good.
adding the ability to change the direction
I think
using the
this is
L
needed.
stick while charging skill number 4 of Blooming Ecstasy on the controller.
Okay.
We plan to improve
That's
Frostmark
interesting.
on skill number 3 so that the direction can also be changed by using the L stick while charging. Yeah, great. I think
Nice.
we've implemented most of the community feedback regarding usability. 예, 그래서 좀 사용성 관련해서 이 커뮤니티의 좀 주요 피드백.
Yeah, I mean, Daya was definitely a great mobber, right? But like I heard, and I haven't really used her in pubs all that much, but I did hear from a bunch of people that like she's very easily outshined in public matchmaking. I think the slight speed increases that they're going to be implementing are going to help out a lot with that. So for all my Daya enjoyers out there, your shine won't be stolen away by Reynas and Inez's and the like as much anymore. So rejoice.
feedback을 대부분 반영한 것 같습니다.
네, 이번에 다이아 스토리를 많이 즐겨주시고 좋은 피드백도 많이 주셨는데요. 다이아 좋아해 주시는 계승자 여러분이 많기 때문에 사용성을 개선해서 좀 더 대중적으로 많이 활용할 수 있는 계승자로 만들고자 했습니다. 2월 12일 패치 후에도 다이아 많이 즐겨주시면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah, it seems players enjoyed Daya's story and shared lots of great feedback.
Yes.
There are many players that like Daya. We wanted to improve the overall usability and make her a more widely used Descendant. So we hope players will continue to enjoy Daya after the patch on February 12th. Additionally, the patch on February 12th will include further improvements to the Eye of the Typhoon and Hammer and Anvil. 예, 그래서 또 2월 10일 패치는 태풍의 눈, 망치와 모루도 또 추가 개선이 예정되어 있다고 합니다.
네, 태풍의 눈은 공격력과 속성 공격력이 모두 상향이 되고요. 자동 타겟팅 범위가 더 증가할 예정입니다. 그리고 뇌경 모드에서의 피해량도 상향이 되어서 좀 더 강력한 위력과 편의성을 갖춘 무기로 성능을 올렸습니다.
For the Eye of the Typhoon, we plan to increase firearm and attribute attack. Its
Okay.
auto-targeting range will also be expanded. Storm mode's damage will also be increased, enhancing its performance as a more powerful and convenient weapon.
그리고 망치와 모루 역시 공격력과 속성 공격력을 상향했고요. 이와 더불어서 발동 효과를 좀 단순화해서 좀 더 쉽게 효과들을 100% 발휘할 수 있도록 했고, 그리고 모루 모드의 피해량도 상향을 했습니다. 모루 모드 상태에서 방역 능력은 보완된 유물에 비해서 좀 떨어지지만 그래도 일반 필드 몬스터를 처치하는 데 부족함이 없는 스펙으로 설정을 하였습니다.
Hammer and Anvil will also get a buff to firearm and attribute attack. With this, the
Okay.
activating
Buff and
effect
buffs are
has
always
been
good.
simplified, and the overall damage of Anvil mode has been increased. Although Anvil mode's AoE damage capabilities are still inferior to that of Restored Relic, Its specifications are said to be more than sufficient for defeating enemies on the field.
Okay.
네, 이런 개선을 통해서 망치와 모루의 단일 피해량 자체는 천둥우리급이 돼서 지휘관 처치에도 유용하고 그리고 또 필드 사냥에도 유용하게 쓸 수 있는
We'll definitely have to see how all this
개선을
feels in game,
하고자
but
했습니다.
I mean, I have faith.
Through this adjustment, the single target damage of the hammer and anvil will be comparable to the Thunder Cage, making it useful for
Ooh.
taking down commanders.
Ooh, to the Thunder Cage? Oh my god. Thunder Cage is like one of the best mobbing weapons in the game right now, dude. That's amazing to hear. Holy shit. Okay. I'm sold. I'm down. I'm gonna build up hammer and anvil now, at least at some point. Probably not right away, but that's good. Okay, let's continue.
And we aim to improve it into a weapon that can also be effectively used for field hunting. Yeah, so since we're talking about weapons, Director, are there any plans for E-Buster? 듣고 보니 좀 궁금해지는 게 E-Buster는 혹시 추가되는 계획이 없으실까요?
아, 네, 그것도 계속 살펴보고 있고 필요하다면 추가 대응을 계속 할 예정이기도 합니다. 그리고 이건 또 이제 이 이후의 계획과 관련된 이야기이기도 한데요. 이네즈의 스킬 모듈을 추가할 때 총기 빌드도 준비를 하고 있어요. 그래서 이 버스터는 그때를 위한 포석이기도 했습니다. 그리고 산탄총도 역시 특화 계승자를 또 준비하고 있는 것이 있어서요. 다양한 무기를 좀 더 즐겁게 활용할 수 있도록 계속 개선해 나가도록 하겠습니다.
We are continuing to monitor the situation and will take further action if necessary. And this is also related to our future plans as we're preparing firearm builds when additional skill modules are being added. So E-Buster is a stepping stone for that timing. Additionally, we are preparing shotguns for specialized Descendants as well, and we will continue improving to make it more enjoyable to utilize various weapons.
Good.
Yeah, so today...
Yeah, but these guys don't, they don't care about us, right? They don't care about the experience that we have in the game, do they? They're only here for money. Shout out to Magnum Studio, man. I mean, I know it's not the end of the video yet, but I just, and you can just tell from the interactions between these two that, they actually like interacting with each other and working with each other. You can tell that they have at least some passion for the game and stuff like that. And I just want to point that out. And, I just feel like that's important. It's important to me especially, right? Like, I want my developers to love what they're doing. I want them to believe in what they're doing. And yeah, I think that's great. Let's continue.
Hey, we've shared various content improvements scheduled for the patch on February 12th. Additionally, several other improvements and bug fixes will be implemented. 예, 그래서 오늘 이렇게 2월 12일에 배치될 주요 콘텐츠 개선 사항에 대해 좀 말씀을 드렸는데요. 이 외에도 여러 가지 좀 개선 사항과 버그 수정도 함께 진행될 예정입니다. And another feedback I've seen from the community, so the exposed underwater base is a well-made dungeon, but
yes,
players
it is.
feel it's kind of a shame to stop visiting it once the farming is complete. So, Director, are there any plans to add ancestors module farming to the underwater base?
Ooh.
그래서 좀 커뮤니티에서 많이 궁금해하시는 질문인데 새롭게 추가된 해저 기지가 잘 만들어진 그런 던전인데 이 파밍이 끝나면 더 이상 안 가도 되는 게 좀 아깝다는 그런 느낌이 있어요. 그래서 혹시 해저 기지에도 이 송각자 파밍이 좀 추가될 계획이 있을까요?
네, 3월 업데이트에는 엑시온 침투 작전 중에 원하는 곳에서 주간 성각자 파밍을 할 수 있도록 개선될 예정이고요. 그리고 엑시온 침투 작전끼리 침투 지원을 하는 기능을 추가를 할 예정이에요. 그래서 이렇게 할 경우에 성각자 모듈을 확률적으로 파밍할 수 있는 기능도 추가될 예정입니다. 그래서 장기적으로 엑시온 침투 작전은 성각자 파밍을 진행하는 콘텐츠로 좀 자리 잡을 예정입니다.
The update in March will improve Axion infiltration operations to allow players to farm weekly Ancestors modules at their desired locations.
Ooh.
Additionally, a feature will be added which players can farm Ancestors modules at a certain rate when supporting infiltrations to other Axion infiltration operations. So in the long term, Axion...
Okay. Wow. That's awesome, dude. Oh my god. That's amazing news for March. So not only are they adding ancestor modules, I think they said it was a percentage or a drop rate to the infiltration operations, aka I believe the missions spread throughout the region. But they're further incentivizing accepting support requests from other players in Axion Plains. That's big. I mean, I know it's a minor thing, like in this specific instance, but yet again, you know, they implement an update that moves away from siloed content, right? You know, they're breaking the mold. They're sort of, right? Because like a lot of players weren't really okay with siloed content. I was, but at the same time, like I definitely prefer this direction, you know, of them like sprinkling out materials into other areas, sprinkling out like high value loot, whatever the case might be, such as superconducting cooling units and ancestor modules. I think this is a massive W. Let's continue.
Filtration operations are intended to become content for farming ancestors modules. Yeah, so great. That is quite interesting to hear. It is 아주 흥미로운
It's not
소식인 것
interesting. That's
같고요.
huge.
And as we've mentioned earlier, we prepared gifts to express our gratitude to all the descendants who spent lots of time and effort on Glaze. 네, 그리고 처음 좀 말씀드린 것처럼 이 글레이에 대해서 유저
I'm not gonna lie to you, brothers. I still gotta maybe two cats in a row.
선물을 저희가 좀
But nonetheless, I will
네,
take it.
밸런스 조정을 할 수밖에 없게 된 점 다시 한번 사과 말씀드립니다. 2월 12일 이후 접속하시면 여러분께 감사의 마음을 담아서 결정화 총매 5개를 선물로 드리도록 하겠습니다. 꼭 접속하셔서 선물 받아가셨으면 좋겠고 글레이에 대한 관심도 계속 부탁드리겠습니다.
Yeah, we sincerely apologize once again for having to proceed with balance adjustments. To express our gratitude, we will be giving 5 crystallization
They even didn't wanna
catalysts
do it, man.
all the
Like,
players
come on.
who log in after February 12th.
They see this as something that's necessary. They don't, you know, this isn't something that they're just, oh, they're ecstatic about doing, right? Like, and of course, you know, like, because they understand that the players who don't have as much with an issue with Glaze's current state are really enjoying her right now, and they feel like they're taking that away to some extent, right? Like, that's what you guys have to understand about this. It's not just, oh, you know, like, we'll just nerf the character and blah 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 blah, blah based on character or based on feedback, and we don't care. These guys do care, man. Like, they want us to enjoy the game, you know. But sometimes stuff like this is necessary, and I do feel that this is a necessary change, especially seeing low budget gaming's footage on his last 2 videos for Clay. I mean, I was kind of shocked, you know, at the damage that she was outputting. I believe it was 1.2 billion in a span of less than 5 seconds on mobs. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
We hope everyone logs in to receive the gifts, and please continue
I will.
to look forward to Glaze.
I'll be there.
And one more thing, next week is Lunar New Year, Korea's biggest holiday of the year. So we prepared daily login rewards from Monday through Wednesday. Be sure to come and claim them as well. 네, 그리고 한 가지 더 말씀드리면 아마 한국 분들 다 아시겠지만 다음 주는 이제 저희 가장 큰 명절인 설날입니다. 그래서 월요일부터 수요일까지 매일 접속 보상을 저희가 준비해놨으니까요. 이것도 꼭 받으시길 바라겠습니다.
네, 그리고 2월 19일은 한국의 연휴로 패치를 좀 쉬어가는 점 양해 부탁드리고요. 개발팀도 가족과 함께 재충전 잘 하고 돌아와서 3월 업데이트는 더 철저하게 준비하겠습니다.
Please note that on February 19th, we will be taking a break
Yep.
from doing a patch due to
Got to celebrate their
The
Lunar New
development
Year.
team will also be recharging with their families and returning to prepare the March update
Well-deserved
more
break.
thoroughly.
A well-deserved break.
2월 21일부터 3주간 주말마다 성각자 모듈 강화 주간이 시작이 됩니다. 냉각 유닛 50%가 할인이 되니까 이때 원하시는 계승자 성각자 모듈 모두 띄우시기 바라겠습니다.
And starting February 21st, the Ancestors Module Enhancement Week will begin every weekend for 3 weeks. Superconductive cooling unit costs for
Wait.
Ancestor Module.
Wait. So, Ancestor Module Enhancement Weekend. So does that mean that we're going to have higher rates on Ancestor Module rolls? Or does that mean that Ancestor Modules that we acquire will have higher rates from the get-go? Or is it both? Enhancement means higher, right? Stronger. That's what it means. So, yeah, get your superconductive cooling units ready because we're about to go to town on rerolling, my friends. I'm excited. Let's go. Bro, I went into this not expecting a lot, and I am very pleasantly surprised. Let's continue.
Recalibration will be 50% off, so we hope players will take this opportunity to upgrade the Ancestors module for their desired descendants. Yes, so
50%
detailed
off?
patch notes for February 12th will be provided tomorrow in the patch notes. Also, the Black Paint collection mentioned during the last DevLive Q&A will be distributed on the 12th, so please look forward to that as well.
Let's go.
And additionally, various
more free
events
stuff
are
is always
currently
good.
underway, especially for returning players. Be sure to check out the Accelerate Research Week event. Playing the game will
that's
accelerate
a
research
massive
time
thing that you
within
guys should check out.
Catalyst
It's
faster, so don't
really
miss
good.
out on the events.
It's not only Catalyst, it's everything that you're researching, right? So when you go to the research page, and you look at the bottom left, all the way down in the bottom left-hand corner, there will be a green tab that says Accelerated Research. You click on that, and then you can see which individual areas / missions you can complete to knock a handful of minutes off of your research at a time. So, very nice thing for returning players, and I mean for all players really, it's really nice. So, but yeah, in case you guys are not aware of that, please check that out. Save yourself the headache of waiting 6 hours for a cat, or 18 hours for a character. Whatever your research.
예, 그래서 2월 12일 상세한 패치 안내는 내일 저희가 패치노트로 좀 설명을 드릴 예정이고요. 그리고 지난 데브라이브 저희 좀 Q&A에서 말씀드렸던 블랙 페인트 모음 이것 또한 2월 12일에 지급 드릴 예정이니까요. 많은 기대 부탁드리겠습니다. 또 추가로 지금 다양한 이벤트가 저희가 좀 진행 중인데 특히 이 복귀 유저분들은 너무 좀 소중한 영구 가속 이벤트가 지금 한창 진행 중입니다. 그래서 영구 걸고 플레이를 하시기만 하면은 총매가 아주 빠르게 만들어지니까요. 놓치지 마시고 많은 참여 부탁드리겠습니다.
네. 복귀 유저 얘기하셔서 생각이 났는데요. 저희가 지난주에 엑스박스 게임 패스에 입점을 했잖아요. 그래서 입점하고 엑스박스에서 유저분들이 굉장히 많이 들어오고 계세요. 놀랍게도 다른 플랫폼들과 비슷한 규모로 접속자가 늘었습니다. 네, 저희도 깜짝 놀라고 있고요. 엑스박스뿐만 아니라 업데이트 이후에 또 접었던 유저분들이 많이 돌아오고 계신데요. 개발팀도 계속 분발해서 약속드린 스팀 동접에 도달할 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다. 항상 소중한 피드백 전해주시는 계승자 여러분 정말 감사합니다.
Speaking of returning players, since joining Xbox Game Pass, we've seen many new and returning players coming in through Xbox.
Let's
go!
go.
The number of players accessing our game has grown to a scale comparable to other platforms. We're quite surprised by this as well.
Good.
And not just Xbox, but many players have been coming in since the update, so the development team will continue to work hard to reach the promised Steam concurrent player count.
Yes, sir.
All our descendants
yes,
will
sir.
provide valuable feedback.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for watching today's Dev Notes, everyone. 그러면 설날 연휴 건강하게 잘 보내시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
Alrighty. You like my video suggestions? But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything to be upset about here. Call me crazy. And now, look, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, if you love Glaze, if you love X character that gets, rebalanced or whatever you want to call it, it is a little bit worrying and upsetting. But at the same time, like, let's wait until tomorrow. Let's see how she feels in game. Let's see how she feels in Wall Crasher. Let's see how she feels in general. Because, like, as soon as the update's live, you'll be able to load into Wall Crasher. If you guys are not aware, you can load into Wall Crasher up to 4 minutes after the hour is passed. So we'll have plenty of time, to swap out a mod or two and then just immediately load into Wall Crasher and see how she performs. I don't think this is anything to be alarmed about, though. Personally, I'm excited. Now, have I played Wall Crasher all that much since Glaze got buffed? No, so I can't actually speak from my own experience on how quote-unquote bad it is to play in pubs with Glaze. But at the same time, like, I've seen the videos, like, I've seen, 40 seconds on Wall Crasher. I've heard someone doing, like, 6.9 billion damage in the dungeon in public matchmaking, which is absolutely ludicrous. So I do most definitely think that this is warranted, And, not to poke the hornet's nest or anything, but it is kind of funny that a lot of this same crowd who are against this nerf slash rebalance are the same guys and gals, whatever, that want Serena to be nerfed. It's I digress though. My approach on this is they're going to buff characters, they're going to nerf them. It's a given. It's a live service game. The metas are constantly changing. You know, sometimes they overtune things. People make mistakes. People are capable of making mistakes. And even though they had more or less a very finite amount of time to test Glaze before launching the rebalance slash rework, whatever you would like to call it, things can get swept under the rug. Things can, you know, slip past Nexon and Magnet Video and whatever else. I've seen this comment a few times, and I think this is an excellent suggestion, but what I think they should do is I think that they should actually take on players of the game, like end game players of the game, to kind of beta test their updates before they come out. I think that that's something that they could really benefit from. But regardless, even if they don't do that, I think it's just fine, you know, like that these mistakes will slip through every now and then they'll just go back and readjust them, right? I mean, yeah, it'll be a little bit disappointing for the community every single time this happens, because it's like, okay, like, why'd you even release this in the first place? But at the same time, right, like, once they're done testing the update, they're done testing the update. They're done collecting the data, the information, you know, the coding, the lines of text, you know, the numerical values, the mathematics of it, stuff like that. And then it's kind of up to us as players to submit the support tickets and say, hey, you know, this you guys might want to take a look at this. So, but yeah, I mean, let me know down in the comments if you disagree. Please do so respectfully. Let me down in the comments if you agree. Also, check the pinned comment for both of LBG's most recent videos. They're very well put together. I watched them in full, and I think that he did quite a good job of breaking everything down. A lot better than I did. You know, I'm just kind of giving you guys my thoughts in reaction to this, whereas he actually took Glaze to the lab and, you know, he showcased her current power, even with a basically half-baked build. And it's definitely a sight to see, right? And it's a very well put together video, so go ahead and check him out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.